first, let's start with, how did you get even a sense that there was another relationship going on?
After the wedding, I had no idea. I went home, took my daughter home, and then she came back later, and you know, later in the evening, and we woke up and everything was fine. A few months down the road, she just kind of shut down, and things were different. I could tell, and I didn't really know. She said that she wanted to leave me. She said she was leaving me because of things that I was doing, and I didn't argue. So I packed my shit, and I think I stayed in my car for a few nights, and then she called me and told me that I should go stay with her friends. That they have a house in Kansas City, and they came from Seattle, or they were her friends from Seattle, but they moved there from Hawaii, and they had a spare bedroom. So I went over there, and this couple, like, they made me soup and stuff, and was telling me like, oh, you know, it's fine. Like, Gina just doesn't love you anymore. And I was I was fine with leaving, and then a few hours later, I was getting texts from Gina saying how she loved me and that she was sorry. So I showed these people, and like they could see that I was tormenting myself and stuff. And then finally, uh, you know, I accused Gina of having something with Kevin Croom before, and she always said no, and I didn't have any proof. So then I always felt bad about that. Well, then later, this lady showed me hundreds of texts describing everything, and what I released is actually pretty light for what actually happened. And later on down the road, she told me that it all started on the wedding night, and she said she didn't have sex with him on the wedding night, that she just made out with him when I was at home. So, but after that, the whole time they had a relationship, and I went and cornered this guy in two of his bare knuckle fights. I held pads for him. I taped his rounds. I game planned for his opponents. I watched tape, and paid my own way to get out there, paid for my own meals, and even took my wife with me. And the whole time they had a thing going, and they're still together now. So, I mean, it's heartbreaking, and you know, it cost me some money. I put my Vegas Airbnb was in her name, and so she got that, and I gave her half my savings. But technically, we were never even married. She didn't fill out any of the paperwork. We just had a wedding. I didn't even know that we weren't married until I thought we were going to have to get a divorce, and then kind of find out we weren't even legally married. So it's been a big mess. But as far as the financial goes, man, I'm an earner. I can make money. That's not a problem. My daughter's young enough now to where hopefully this doesn't scar her for life. But Gina's been the main woman in her life for 6-7 years of my daughter's 8 years of life. So it's weird for her not being around, but you know, it is what it is. I got things I got to worry about, and I got my career and I got my kid, and that's enough.
Yeah, well, again, really sorry to hear this, man, because again, I'm someone who's married. I know relationships are tough, but that's just crazy that this sort of all unfolded like this. In fact, I remember us doing an interview when you were in Vegas, and I think you two just had started dating. So it's just weird that this happens like out of the blue. I just, you know, kind of timeline wise, you mentioned that there was a talk of separation. Like, when did that happen? Was that recent, or was that shortly after the wedding? Because it seemed like after you guys got married, things were fine. I don't know, maybe unless social media is deceiving us all.
No, I thought things were fine. But she was in a relationship with him they were in a relationship for 3 months before I found out. And then as soon as I found out, I came to Texas. So.
Okay. So this was after, because you got married in 2020. I was just trying to figure out, when was the separation?
Yeah,
Like, when did you
October
move up?
2020. And I think separation happened in December. I mean, the guy played Santa Claus. We had a Christmas party. Kevin Croom played Santa Claus at my Christmas party, which was on Christmas Eve, which is my birthday. So there's pictures of me and my daughter sitting on this guy's lap, and me and my daughter and my wife sitting on this guy's lap. Like, it's
crazy.
And it goes way worse. I don't want to get too far.
No, we don't need to, but I think even that in itself, well, even that photo you posted on Twitter where, you know, he's putting the microphone up to Gina and she's talking to your daughter. Like, how can someone do that and feel like that's just, it's insane. And I've known, to be honest, I knew Kevin before he even trained at your gym, and it's just like shocking to see all this stuff come out. And I guess you can't really, you know, you look at someone on the surface, there's other stuff behind that, right? So it's pretty crazy.
The thing is I knew who Kevin was. He bragged about the kind of guy that he was. I just, you know, I trusted my wife, and I trusted people around me, and you know, that's something I'm gonna have to be better with. So lessons learned. You know, it's not gonna stop me from doing what I'm doing, and it's not gonna affect me on this fight. That's for sure.
And just last thing on this, and again, we'll wrap things up here. What's been the response like? Because again, a lot of people saw what happened. They know what a great guy you are, what a good father you are, and I saw a lot of positive stuff. I saw a lot of idiots, but you know, you don't need to respond to those people on Twitter, Tim, because you don't need to explain anything. It's your own issue. But what's been the feedback like? I'm sure you've had a lot of people step up and really support you in this tough time.
As far as the MMA community goes, they really have, and the only reason why I even said anything is I was having interviews, and people were asking about Gina and asking, you know, how she's doing. And like, I was making up lies for these guys and saying, oh, you know, things aren't going well. And then they'd ask about Kevin, like, oh, are you going to corner Kevin, the bare knuckle? I'm like, oh yeah, you know, we're not really friends anymore. And like, they're dating in Kansas City and living a life of, you know, being happy. And I was the only one that had to bear the burden of knowing this shit. So